shout out to the Amish man and Lonnie in the chat.
Hey, Joel, you want to guess what I had my camera back from vacation?
Wait, what?
There's, let's see what we got here. We have the full audio kit. We've got some lens wipes, also good for cleaning your hands off in an emergency. We got 2 bags of emergency snacks. We got some emergency cookies, 2 different audio setups, 4 different batteries, a tripod mount for a tripod that stayed at home.
What? This is for vacation. Were you shooting a movie?
No, I was hungry, apparently. Actually, I had to get some great shots of some trains on vacation.
Hey, Joel, Ben
Great
says,
shots.
Ben, the Amish man, says that please be safe for work, please, because he's listening at work at the pharmacy. So I just wanted to let you know. Be safe for work, please.
Be safe for work?
It means don't say inappropriate things.
Oh, okay.
Sucker, or...
Yeah, like that. Like that.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of vacation, Joel, did I tell you about the scheme that we pulled off for that wedding I shot?
No.
I haven't heard this yet.
Okay. No, I think Dave, I told you about it because we used your camera. So
Remind me then.
okay, so me and my old second shooter Mason were going to shoot this wedding in Michigan, right? For my friend Chris's sister. And, so we're already kind of doing it as a bit of a favor. Like, I'm retired from doing it. And, the money we're making is really just to cover going out there. We're just doing it to have fun, right? Like, knock the rest off,
Sure.
one last ride, that type of thing. Well, the week before, the bride is in another wedding as a bridesmaid. And she hits me up. She's like, hey, they had a videographer come for just the ceremony and like an hour of the reception. If I got one for that, would you care if, would they be in your way? And I was like, no, that's totally fine. I've worked with videographers a bunch, no big deal. So she tries to find a bunch, but it's the week before the wedding. And so anybody who is available and in a reasonable budget range sucks, right? Like, it's people who their whole reel looks like they're filming it with their iPhone. Like, it's really bad. So she goes back and forth a little bit. She's like, you know what? Fine. Oh well, it didn't work out. That's fine. It was a last minute idea. No big deal. So Mason and I start talking and we're like, screw it. We have 2 R6s. Like, he's got 2 drones. We're like, we'll just do a wedding video, but we're not going to tell them. So we're just going to film in between shooting pictures all day long.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And that's what we did. I haven't told you this, Dave. I'm sorry.
No.
So then we're like, wait, we got to figure out audio, because Joel, you've seen modern wedding videos. You got to have like some of the speeches, some of the ceremony. You intercut, clips of them talking.
Yeah, at least
stuff.
a little bit, at least enough to make it kind of trailer worthy.
Yeah. So then we're like, all right, well, how are we going to get that audio? Well, we're staying with Chris while we're up there. Mr. Resourceful. He's digging up an audio recorder. He's fashioning a way to fasten it to the bower, like the altar thing up front.
Yeah.
When they're doing their vows in the woods, they did this super cool thing where like they wrote their own vows. And when they did their first look in the woods on their property, they read their vows to each other there. They didn't do them at the ceremony. They just read them to each other in private. I was like, that's actually kind of dope. In the middle of them doing that, you see Mason casually walk up and toss his phone onto the ground near them. And he just walks off. And it's recording. For the ceremony, I took my phone and put it in the pastor's breast pocket and just tucked it down enough that you couldn't see it. Dude, the audio recorder... It sounded great.
It's pretty damn good for like, yeah.
And then we also took the nice recorder that was like way too big, to be noticed, and we stuffed it in the grass right behind one of the posts. And then
I've totally done the iPhone thing before, because we had lapels and something with the battery, we weren't sure, and so I just chucked my phone and voice memo and just popped it up there.
Yeah, and then during the speeches, I put, like, they had the DJ speaker, and we just set the recorder in front of the speaker and let it just record off of that. And then, we ate some batteries. Like, these R6s, they go through some batteries. Because of course, we're shooting 4K, 24 frames per second. Mason's running the drone. Like, during the ceremony, he has the drone just kind of doing this. No, really. Yeah. At different points, you see him sprinting across the field in the background, grabs the drone and just moves the shot, and then runs back and starts taking pictures somewhere else. But like,
that's amazing.
He's picking up shots from everywhere. He gets us.
Do you have a video that I could see of this at some point?
Yeah. So here's the thing.
I would love to see that.
I'll send you the link right after this. Yeah, so here's the problem. because it's a surprise, we didn't do all of the B-roll stuff that you normally would do for a wedding video of like,
oh yeah, sure,
spin her slowly around in a field or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
close-ups of the rings,
it's gonna be rougher
like,
than that,
those little,
right?
Yeah, sure.
It's going to be rougher than that. This is definitely like we're not going to tell anybody other than the people who are helping us. And
Dude, what a gift! What a gift!
Okay, so
that's awesome.
We shot more photos than I've ever shot in any wedding I've ever done.
10 billion.
8,000 photos.
Oh my
now,
God!
now part of that. Hold on.
Yeah.
Part of that is this.
Was it some of it that the shotgun
Yeah,
or
so
the
Mason
machine
has a
gun?
5D Mark IV and a 6D. I've owned both those cameras. This was his first time using an R6. He texts me 10 minutes into the day. He's like, the autofocus is cheating on this camera. He said, it doesn't miss. It's in focus every single time. He was using Dave's R6. Well, the problem is Mason figured out not only does it focus every time, it focuses all 20 frames per second when you're bursting that bad boy.
Oh my gosh.
So the groom grilling out for his boys, walking through the field. Mason, it's like machine gun Mason the whole day. But he got coverage of everything. Like, you know, we split up and went different ways.
He got coverage.
But we shot probably 14 hours. Dude, with these R6s, we shot until it was black, pitch black outside because the way they had their stuff set up, like we were shooting ISO 25,000 and the cameras are like, we're in focus, doesn't matter. So
my sensor's dead now.
and then he got lots of drone shots.
That actually sounds like fun. Like, cause man, I hate filming weddings because I've done a bunch of them and it's like, oh, that feeling of like, I get PTSD of thinking like, oh, I gotta help. So
then
because you just don't say.
Yeah.
So that actually sounds like fun. Like this is a challenge. We got to do this.
And that was it, because I've never done a wedding video. I've shot 150 weddings.
Yeah.
I don't know how to shoot a wedding video. So I realized that after I edit all the photos, I call all 8,000 on vacation. I edit them within like a week. I'm like, I'm delivering this baby early. I sit down to edit the wedding video and I'm like, okay, what am I doing? And I watched like 30 of those trailer wedding videos and I'm like, all right, I need some songs. They both love country music. I actually hit Mariana up. I was like, country love songs. I need a playlist. Get me some stuff. And it took me probably 10 hours to edit it because the first 5 hours were real rough. Like me just dragging clips around going, I don't know, man. And then I hit the like, I got into the rhythm. I started pulling out some voice clips. I'm like, okay, wait, I'm starting to get something. Now, me being me, it is not a trailer. It's 10 minutes long. I tried my best. I could not get it shorter than 10 minutes without like missing out on a bunch of stuff I wanted to use from the day. And we had over 250 clips and I trimmed it down to 10 minutes that I thought was decent. And I went a little bit longer on some of it because I thought like they're not expecting anything. They'll enjoy seeing some of this stuff. So it's not the tightest 10 minutes, I'll be honest with you. But it's literally the first wedding video I've ever done. So the way I did it,
I'd love to see it.
I'll send it to you right after this. So I sent it. So I told the bride, like, hey, guess what? I'm uploading all the wedding photos. I'm going to send you the gallery tonight. But first, little surprise. And I sent her the link to the video. And now she's a nurse. She's an RN. She had to have someone like, she was on charge. She was like shift nurse or whatever it is at the hospital she works at. She had to have somebody cover for her so she could go lock herself in a closet and watch it and cry. And she sent me like this really long message and her mom cried. It's like, yes. That's what you're going for.
That's awesome.
And they love
that's really
Jeremiah
cool.
out there distributing wedding videos like rings of power, like good.
Well, I think I don't know if did you shoot at 60 FPS for video?
Some stuff we shot at 30, so I could slow it down by 80% and make it 24 and get kind of that nice soft feeling. Some stuff we shot at 24, I just slowed it down a little more anyway, and I'm like,
Because I was gonna say, I was like, if you ever want, like, especially if you don't have to worry about like serious continuity or anything like that, I always suggest like just shoot at 60 FPS because if you're just making trailer and you're not like a proficient videographer and like know how to follow, like that helps so much because you can still get some cool stuff with the not knowing exactly what you're doing. You can still kind of get it as long as you can get some stuff in focus. But that's cool.
Doing
that's got to be awesome.
If I was gonna do it a second time, I think I could do way better the second time. But the first time it was really like shoot picture, and then just hit the record button, grab 5 seconds, turn it off, move to the next thing. We were eating batteries so quick. We like at the place where we had electricity.
Taking photos. Jeremiah's like,
I mean, I used to like on my 5D Mark IV or my 6D, I would pop one battery in, go shoot a wedding. Like I had 2 bodies, each would have one battery. I'd shoot the whole thing. These mirrorless cameras, I'm getting maybe 1,000 shots each. So I mean, they eat it quicker, but dude, in-body image stabilization, everything is in focus every single time. They'll shoot down to like pitch black. I mean, after the end of the day, I was like, I can't believe I ever used to not have these. Like, like this is the most amazing tool.
With most of the cameras like I'll use now, if I shoot any like family videos or the stuff, like I'll like grab my shoulder rig and I'm like, why am I using this? Because I'm like, because I can get the camera closer to the ground or like really close to objects and stuff, I usually take it off. Because again, if I'm shooting at 60 FPS in slow motion, I only use just the slight bit of
stabilization.
Just the slight, because then you can go even more hardcore. But all I need is just a slight, because again, at 60 FPS, you're not noticing as much too. And so I'm like, I haven't used it for a long time, so I mostly only use it just for interviews. But man, some of the cameras are so nice that as long as you have it locked in pretty good, you really don't need one for most things, if you've done enough video stuff that you kind of have an idea what you're doing. But it's funny when you talk about the wedding, the hardest wedding video I've ever had to edit was one that my brother sent to me to edit, because they had shot like 5 weddings in one weekend.
Oh my gosh.
And they were trying to catch up on it, because he shot 2 that weekend, 2 other people shot 2, and they all had to get them done really quick. So he's like, hey, do you mind editing one? So I was like, I mean, what they do and how they edit, I was like, well, yeah, I know how to edit that. But it was incredibly tough. It was like the hardest thing I've ever had to edit in my entire life, because you don't know the footage. I've always shot the weddings. So like you kind of have a bit, like if you've ever done weddings, like you've done a million weddings for photography, so you already kind of know which ones you're probably going to use, you know what I mean? Just like an idea. And then you might get surprised by some photos that you're like, oh wow, that turned out better than I thought. But usually if you shot them, you kind of know the sequence of events. So just roughly, I can just zoom over here. I know what I have. But seeing theirs, I was editing 3 different camera guys that were shooting the wedding, and they don't necessarily shoot it all linearly. They'll get cool shots of the ring, and then right after the reception, they'll go do stuff that's
you grab
before
whatever
the
you
wedding.
can at the time, like whatever it's a good time to do.
But their specific wedding videos, they'll go out with a couple and shoot stuff as if it's pre-wedding. Like, it's like the way they shoot their videos, they take way more higher priority than photos. Like basically when they get hired, they're basically the people,
because the people can't afford, after they hire them, they can't afford a photographer.
But they essentially just set up scenes. Like they'll go, okay, now we want everyone dancing around you and we're gonna do this, and they'll do it like 3 or 4 takes. Where most weddings I'm used to filming is like, I just shoot what I can get.
You just shoot what happens. And
I like that. I prefer that better. But anyways, their stuff looks incredibly cinematic. But I'm like editing, I'm going, crap, how do I recreate it to make it look like theirs? Right. That was a really tough challenge, because I'm like, I know what I would do and what music I would maybe do. So it was weird working with music that they like that I'm not as a fan of. So it was like, oh, okay, I gotta like, how do I do this for them? That was actually a tough challenge.
When I used to edit weddings for the guy I second shot for, like my photography mentor, he would send me hard drives of weddings to edit for him. And it's a wedding you haven't shot. I open them up. I'm like, what is happening here? Like, it would take me so long to cull them, because if things happened out of order or they had to move around or whatever, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And this is before like we got really good at syncing camera timers and stuff, like the camera clocks. Oh my gosh. So another cool thing about this wedding, when we went to Italy, I borrowed Mason's DJI Mavic Pro 2.
Yeah.
And it was great, but in its hard case with its 3 batteries and whatever, the hard case is, maybe like this big. It's not. I was able to take just the drone and pack it into my camera bag with a couple batteries when we were hiking one day. But it's a little bit hard. Well, Mason brought that to the wedding, but he also brought the DJI Mini 2. Dude, have you seen how small it is? Folded up,
no.
It's about the size of a can of soda. Like,
hey, what kind of Bold Rock is that?
This is a Bold Rock Copper Mug Mule.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
What?
It's like a
I was wondering if it was almost like a pumpkin.
No, it's like a Moscow Mule. Although they have a new Bold Rock that's pomegranate. If you want to see what's up with that.
They have like an agave one too, which is actually delicious.
But yeah, that DJI Mini 2 is so good. It shoots 4K video. It's got a long range. Like, it's good enough. I'm thinking of I'm going to go ahead and pick one up, because I've never wanted to buy a drone before, because I'm like, They're fun when I use them, but I don't have an adventurous enough lifestyle to justify like a $1,500 drone. But this thing is with the Fly More pack, like with the extra batteries, it's like $600 for a 4K 40 minutes of flying drone. It's amazing.
And you have that big boy job now, so it's not a big deal.
I mean, big boy house expenses. Everything's broken.
That's your year, actually. I think is everything's broken.
Yeah,
it seems like.
Yeah. But anyway, I feel like I've talked enough. What do you guys want to talk about in the intro here?
Oh, seeing we mentioned broken things, I'll just mention while I'm thinking about it.
Your heart.
My catalytic converter is making a new sound now.
Okay, better or worse?
A sidestep sound. I don't think it's gonna last. Heading to go pick up dinner, I was like, is there something stuck on my my luggage rack or something? And I was like, oh nope, that's the cat, and that's not a good sound.
Are you ready to like take it off and just beat the middle out of it and put it back on again, or are we still trying to make this thing work?
I drive it like once a week. We'll see how much longer I get out of it.
Okay, we can always get in there with a hammer and just give her a few whacks.
Yeah. It is in my budget.
Jeremiah's first whole engine block smashes through, like, oh, I missed.
Up through the cabin somehow.
Joel, every time I go back into the bathroom, I see the half broken off sink that has not been broken anymore since I like gashed my leg open. And I'm like, man, I'm going to have to finish that.
I was really hoping James was going to make it tonight so I could describe the house project I was working on Monday. I think I'll save that story for when he's here because I feel like as the most probably claustrophobic of the group, he would appreciate it the most. I'll give a little tease. I was installing a new bathroom exhaust fan and vent system and a bunch of electrical work in the attic, and it's like oldest part of the house that's left, the only part of the roof we didn't replace, and the highest part of that peak is about 28 inches. So it goes down from there. It's not to code anymore. Eventually that roof's going to have to be replaced. But just as an example of the 13-hour day I spent in that attic while coming down with a cold, to remove the old attic fan, I had to lay OSB down the rafters and crawl like this to get right over the old fan.
How'd you get the OSB into the rafters?
I cut it into small pieces, like 2x1 pieces.
Oh.
So occasionally they would like start to slip and I would feel them like come off the rafters and I have to like balance and reach back and pull it back to lay on again. But to remove the old fan, I had to crawl like that. And it was nailed to the rafters because we'd installed it from below when the ceilings were open. We had not been in this attic before to do this work. Originally, we did all the work in the attic, all the ducting and whatnot, when it was all open. So this is the first time any of us have ever had to go in this attic. To remove the old fan, I had to crawl like that until my chin was like this, pressing against the top of the old fan. And I could lean around and see the nails holding it on the backside as the roof pressed against the top of my head like this. That is how tight it was.
Oh, well, I guess Joel's just not in the mood anymore.
Joel doesn't want to hear that story. Did we lose him?
Yeah, he's
you
back.
Right there, Joel?
No, sorry. It like all the audio turned into like turned into like alien voice. Sorry, continue.
Oh man,
did you keep recording?
Yeah, I haven't stopped.
Okay, it was just us coming through that sounded weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
It just like all of a sudden like all the audio went to like the hyper chipmunk sound.
Yeah.
I'll save the rest of that description for when James is here because I think he'd appreciate some of what I went through that day more. But it was the worst, most claustrophobic thing I've ever had to do in my life, and it was miserable. I got a little panicky a couple times.
Yeah, I don't really want to volunteer for this, but as your friend, I'm volunteering. Like, you can call us when you have one of those days where you're going to have to do some of that stuff. Like,
this isn't an intentional monster joke here, Jeremiah, but I'm not kidding you. You would not have fit through the hatch.
No, but like for moral support to talk and like pass things back and forth and like the mechanics of making it less miserable. Like, you know how big of a difference it makes when I'm laying under a car and I'm doing the same claustrophobic thing but under a car? And then I've got my other friend, Joel, not this Joel. I have a lot of Joels that I'm friends with.
He collects them.
He hands me tools, and that makes such a big difference. And me going, I need the whatever, and he gets it. And that just helps so much. Like, I don't have to climb out from under the car, get up, get back down, lay on the ground. Like, I don't know. It makes a big difference having just moral support there.
when I was up on the roof about to cut the final hole for the exhaust fan, I lost my last bit of light and had to go to Home Depot again to get tools. And I was like, I'm not going to have time to eat dinner. So I just got some tacos from Taco Bell, got home with the new drill set, climbed onto the roof and ate some tacos for about 15 minutes on the roof while the sun set. And I was like, back into the cave. I survived.
I'm going to have to get back up into the attic. It doesn't nearly as bad. I can't complain about any of it after what you just said, but to install the speakers in the bathroom, like run the speaker wires and everything, I'm going to have to go back up there. Yes, Joel, I'm adding in-ceiling speakers, a marine-rated in-ceiling speakers in the bathroom.
That's pretty legit.
8-inch sealed ones, and I'm going to have Bluetooth and a wired input.
I'm sure you already ordered your fan, right, Jeremiah?
Oh, it's already installed. Yeah, fans here,
Okay.
fans installed.
One of the things I was doing was I got a fan with a built-in 900-watt heater up in the ceiling with its own switch, and that is pretty cozy. Here we go. I'm in the chat for this. I don't think there's an easy way for you to share it. Is there, Jeremiah?
Yeah, I can. Or like, you
just-
want me to share it on screen?
Yeah, I really wish James was here for this, but I'll tell the rest of the story. I just wanted to share the one photo I took. I was having to use the selfie camera on my phone to see the last nails behind, and this is the photo I got.
Is it coming through? Where is it?
It's on the it's in the chat for the recording channel.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually, that'll display it on screen.
Yeah.
Sweet. That looks like you're filming a panicked video under your house for sure. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and
Ranger
if you look,
Dave
I'm
coming
actually-
to you from the Resistance.
If you look, I'm not actually over the fan yet. So to get behind it, I have to push up to where my phone is being held, basically. Yeah.
Nice. Well, guys, do we want to go ahead and start this podcast?
We should do it.
I mean,
I don't even
obviously-
know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
tonight.
obviously we're already in the podcast, but start the part of it where we talk about games. Everybody, welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast. Podcast all about the irreverent love of games. I'm Jeremiah. I am joined by my co-host Joel.
Yo, yo, yo.
All right. And the Ranger.
I do not consent to the Ranger.
You say that every time, but you haven't made me stop yet, so I'm going to keep doing it. Papa,
How am I supposed to make you stop?
well, you could just tell me. It doesn't count every time when you tell me I don't want you to do that anymore. That doesn't count. You have to tell me ahead of time. Just to be clear.
Fair point. Okay.
You saying you don't like it doesn't count because we're in the podcast, so anything is fair game. James could not make it this evening. He is doing some stuff with his family. I know it's been like a month and a half since our last podcast. Sorry, we will try to do a little bit better about that next time. So I think we're going to go right into what are we playing this week, because I feel like we could easily spend a good chunk of like the main topic talking about that too. So Joel, I think I want to hear what you have to say about what you've been playing this week, because I'm curious about something that you wrote there. So go ahead.
Yeah. So anyways, I've just had a little bit of time to play Elden Ring continually. Just finished beating, I forget the character's name, Melina boss. Man,
Oh,
the
you beat
crazy
her?
sword one.
Yeah.
Finally. Like,
I have not.
I think it probably took me maybe 55 tries.
Oh,
It's one of those where there's one move that, man, it's rough, and you got to get in a bit of a groove. It's one of those. But it was really fun. Like, it was pretty satisfying. So it was kind of like I would just jump on. Eric would like hop on. And we're like, all right, we'll tackle it 3-4 tries. All right, we're done. And then we had to go to bed or something. But the other thing is exit games. Me and Joy, we've been playing tons of these, like, they're basically escape room in a box, like board games. They're
That's cool.
so much fun. But there's
That
a
sounds
company
really
called
awesome.
Kiasmos or something like that. I think it's actually from Germany or something like that. But anyways, look up Exit the Games, and they're. Let me just grab one real quick. I have it right here.
For audio listeners, Joel has a Christmas tree up in the background. He says he's keeping it up year round. It's currently a Halloween tree. Oh, he can hear us. He's got his AirPods Max in.
yeah. I can hear you.
Wait,
okay,
hold on.
What?
Did you just put a blanket over your lap? Oh, that's a comforter. That's not a blanket. That's a.
It's like a It's a
You've got the like elderly president in a wheelchair vibe going on there.
So this is the brand.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Okay.
Important, if you try some of these, seriously, just start at the beginning, like the easiest. Whether you're good or not, it's just one of those that like you kind of have to like understand kind of how the game is played. But they're so much fun. They take maybe 90 minutes to do, but we have a whole bunch of them, and so we're just kind of going through them as we can. I think there's probably about 30 of them, but we've done maybe 8 or 9 of them now.
How much do they cost each?
They're about like $12.
Okay.
You can I found one on Amazon just recently because they had a whole sale. But there's a couple other companies that make stuff as well. So this one, Escaper in a Box, but this one's actually really cool because it's 2 of them, and when you finish both of them, they connect the story, and then you kind of finish a third chapter of it. But some of so the smaller exit games, you actually have to like cut pieces and like. There's almost like little playing cards, but each one has like a little passcode thing on it. Sometimes you'll have like a random object, but there's literally one where you actually have to scratch the box to find a code hidden on it. So it's like, it's just fun. It's just one of those things that, because I was like, me and Joey, we don't play a lot of like board games together, because it's like, if we're going to play Monopoly, it's a long game, but it's like, I like to have a bit of that competitiveness, but she's not going to really play chess because I would destroy her in that. But I'm not going to play like Dutch Blitz or something she wants to play. Like, I hate that crap. But we both enjoy this because her mind works one way, mine work, so it's fun. Like, we'll just chill, and there's an app that you can play that has like ambience. So like one is like you're stuck in a plane and you have to escape and some mystery or whatever. But it's fun. They're not that long, but we really enjoy it. But yeah, the biggest one I would suggest getting first, just that's seriously truly fun, that I think it's good for like 4 to 6 people. Look on Amazon. It's called The Werewolf Experiment. It's a bigger box. It's maybe like $26, but it legitimately has like little like keys and locks. And I don't want to spoil anything. It's seriously like really fun. Like some of them actually have to like use water and like dip things, and again, it's like a 90-minute. It's supposed to be like an escape room, but in a board game thing.
Sounds very
and again,
immersive.
most of them are not really reusable. You can download stuff to reprint it, but it's one of those things. I'm like, you go to a theater, 2 people, you're going to spend probably $30 or more if whatever.
But see,
so
I don't do that.
Yeah, so. Yeah, well, I know. But like, it's a really fun evening to just do something different.
Okay.
So, anyways, we've been playing a lot of those.
Yeah, the only escape room I've ever done is the one I did with you guys. Like, that's the one time.
Oh
in
yeah,
my
I forgot you did it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, when you said exit games, I was wondering, like, that's either the name of something or this is you announcing dramatically, like, I don't play games anymore. I am a father. No, instead you're complaining like, me and my wife, we just don't play board games like we used to now that we're in our 30s and have a child that we have to keep alive and all that other stuff.
I mean, again, there's certain board games I really enjoy, but it's like, even like the more complex ones are really fun, but they're just hard to like, because they take so long to set up. You really need to have like a dedicated room that you can leave it for a while and stuff. So this has been really fun to be like, hey, let's do a little adventure. And so we even got a subscription box, and it's like every 3 months we'll get one from this company called Escape the Crate, and it's fun. Like, there's like a Halloween themed one, but like we like, because again, like we're not able to do them all the time, but anytime we have like, hey, we're in the mood to like play one and we have time, we're like, we always have one. So basically our board game shelf is now just a whole bunch of those. Cool. So it's like, hey, what do you want to do? So we got an Eric into it. He had no idea about it, and he freaking loves riddles. So he's like, oh my gosh, I have to consume
I can see that.
Yeah, they're fun.
Nice. Ben in chat says, Mansions of Madness is my favorite board game. The games can range from 2 to 12 hours. No, thank you. That's like, remember that? Which of you owns the Game of Thrones game that we played once?
That was me.
It took like 3 hours to do like 2 rounds that were like, yeah, we got it. This is not.
Yeah, like it was seriously a fun game. Like, it really was like pretty interesting. And it was funny. I was playing with my my brother-in-law. We were on a beach vacation, and we were playing a board game of his. And we had a long chat afterwards, because we were talking about like there's certain people that they can play a game and the instruction says, let's say the instruction says, you're inside a cave and you're deep underground and all this lore, right? And then like a card will say, well, this card gives you the sneak attack to do such and such, right? And I was like, I just really don't like this game. And he's like, why? And I was like, because I like games that if a card or an action or the lore, I need to feel like I'm also doing that action. Like if something's saying I'm doing something incredible and fun and wacky, I want to both physically feel like I'm kind of doing that wacky too. Like I mean, or like a board game that says like you can steal something. Like I want to feel like I'm actually doing that action. But most of these like, I don't know, like really complex games, it's like you steal. Well, everyone knows you're doing it, and it just kind of.
Dave, I can tell where this is going. Joel's going to make his own escape room game that's like, go to your neighbor's house. No, literally. No, I'm not. Go to your neighbor's yard, steal something from.
Yeah.
Get up out of your seat.
Kill him.
Get your gun. Get your gun.
Well, did I actually say I actually did create an escape room? Did I tell you this?
No.
So my brother has an Airbnb in town, and I was like,
"Oh no, you're experimenting with the guests."
No,
Joel, that's called Saw. That's called Saw. That's a different thing.
Y'all want to play a game? No. So tell me, like, I think this is actually really cool. We finished it. It took us about 6 months to like build it. But it's not like anything like an actual room or anything like a real escape room. It's more of just solve a puzzle.
It's more like the prison of the mind.
Yeah, prison and mind castle. You walk in and you know where you might have like a bar and like some glasses and stuff like that, or wine or whatever. Well, we put a little red, or it's not that small. It's a pretty big push red button, like a big red button on there, and there's a little sign that says push button to begin.
Okay, the button you're going to use to kill Dave with tacos one day.
Yeah.
That button.
Yes. But you press it.
This is a test run.
I would love for you guys to try sometime, because Jonah actually has somebody who's actually staying there for 3 months right now in the Airbnb. So we're like, dang it, we haven't been able to like fully test it. We've done it, but we haven't had like anyone else externally do it yet. But you hit the button and a black light turns on and it shows a secret message. And then you lead a series of like 8 clues all around the Airbnb. And here's the best part is like I used a lot of like user experience and trying to figure out like, okay, do you think the person is going to like, we didn't want anybody to like pull heavy on anything, right? It's all very obvious. Like once you find it, there's no question you found it. So we worked really hard. Everything's connected, like all the keys, they're all tied. Like there's one that's actually a key tied on a like a laundry line, like one of those ones you can pull and they zip back. We pull the key across the room behind something and unlock something, and then when it's done, it just zips back. So it's like easy to reset if we have to. But you find Napoleon's treasure, and that's basically like because their house is the Airbnb is all kind of French kind of themed and everything. So we put like we found an old Napoleon book. We like hid some stuff inside it, but everything's like chained and connected and like it's pretty cool. So I'm excited. But I was like, who wouldn't do that? Like if you went to an Airbnb or beach house, and you found something like that, like you would be like, hey guys, do you want to solve this? Like I think it'd be kind of cool.
Is his treasure a stomach ulcer? That's what Napoleon died from.
Oh, yeah. No, they have a Napoleon Bonaparte hat, like his like I forget what the hat's called, but that there's actually a treasure chest in the fireplace, and it's locked there. So if you figure it out, you unlock it, and I think Jonah's we're gonna put some fake golden coins in there. So if you want to have one plastic golden coin as a gift.
That's cool. That's a really cool. Okay, you're like the busiest person ever, and you don't have time to do things, but then you're like, yeah, so me and my brother made a escape room in his Airbnb. Like, I would like to see your daily
it took
schedule.
700 hours of research.
I'd like to see your daily schedule for a week. It fascinates me. It just fascinates me. The things that you spend your time on. Not that I'm not judging that you spend your time on. I'm just
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I know. I'm fascinated.
You know, I spend my time on things that like I just really enjoy.
No,
like
that
was a fun challenge. Because we also I looked it up. There's no Airbnb that I know of that we did a search that has anything like it whatsoever.
That makes sense.
So I was like, because Jonah wanted to find ways to like get more business for the Airbnb. So I thought like, how cool would it be if some people do go to it and then they leave a review like, wow, that was really fun. Like experience a fun little puzzle, and it's actually really well designed. Like it's pretty cool. I'm excited for people to try it because it's really well thought out. It might take maybe 25 minutes tops, I think, maybe. But yeah,
nice, very nice.
I've been busy.
So that's what Joel's been playing. I'm going to start with one of the things. Well, one thing I've been playing, and then transition to something that me and Dave both played, so we can talk about it. Content. Okay. Death Stranding. So I've been wanting to play it for a while. But it finally hit Game Pass, so I didn't have to pay any extra. So I installed it. It's not the direct. Well, I don't know if it's the director's cut or not, but I installed it. And Joel, I remember you telling me so much about Death Stranding. It's been a while since I played a game. Oh shoot, what's the guy's name?
Norman Reedus?
No, the director of the game who made the Metal Gear Solid games.
Hideo Kojima.
Kojima, I'm just blanking on his name real quick. I can tell, like, I'm playing a Kojima game again, because they keep explaining, like, here's the, the Rift babies, and the whatever happens, and the Doom Rain, and I'm like, what is going on? None of this makes sense. But I think I'm enjoying it so far. It's kind of hard to, tell. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm only maybe, like, 2 hours in. I haven't played that much. But, like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. You said it's not actually that long, right?
No, and I would absolutely encourage you, do not be tempted by lots of the side quests. Like, I'm being very serious. Like get far. Like, just do the main story, because there was always time to do the side quests. But like, it's one of those games where like it's really fun. But I could see, unless you really, really love it and you want to do every little bit, like, just stick to the story and get through it. Is just play that. And if you like that, then maybe do more. But like, to me, it's like almost like if you enjoyed Assassin's Creed, like something that I realized, like if you like Assassin's Creed, it's hard to play like 3 Assassin's Creed games back to back. Like if let's say you never played them before, like, because they're really good, like at least the earlier ones. But yeah, like they're very similar. So it's like you don't want to do that because like the type of game it is, you were slow, you're charging the snow, but it does build, and the story gets really interesting once you get past like the re-explanations of a lot of stuff. It's like weird, but it's also like really interesting, and it gets really good. Like, yeah, it was. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but like, I will never do any more of the side quests, but I love the main story and that experience.
I started Resident Evil 2 Remake on the Steam Deck and have played 1 hour, and that's it, and have forgotten to go back to it. I also bought Need for Speed Heat for $3 on the Steam sale, and have been playing that on the Steam Deck, and it is not a good game, but it was $3, and I can just turn on the Steam Deck, play like a race or two, and be done. The only time I'm going to talk about the new Need for Speed trailer in this episode is I saw the trailer, and it does not look like a good game. So anyway, moving on to the game that Dave and I both been playing the demo for Manor Lord.
Oh, yes. Manor Lording it up.
Yeah, hey, go, Dave, I feel like you should talk, and I'll just chip in here. You go for it.
Yeah, this is a game I've been following for about a year now. I really thought it was a scam at first, because it just looks that good. It's an Unreal Engine 4 based strategic medieval city builder, but not just a city builder. Like it's very much Banished style on the city building side of it, but it's going to have a full military side of the game. That's a mix of Age of Empires style recruitment and combat and large scale battles like the Total War series, but all done with the settlements that you've built on a large scale map.
I didn't know there were going to be battles. Regions. I thought it was really just city planning, and I am here for it.
Yeah, Jeremiah, we played like 30% of the game in the demo.
What is the name of the game again?
Manor Lords.
Oh man,
dude,
I thought I saw it on PS5, but it was something else.
This doesn't feel like a PS5 game.
Maybe eventually. I mean, Banished, I think, ended up on console at one point, and a lot of the popular city builders like Frostpunk have gone to consoles eventually.
I've still never played Frostpunk.
You would really enjoy it. It is such a great take on the genre. But the reason I said that I thought it was a scam at first is because all of his dev screenshots that he was sharing looked like a AAA game.
And it's
from
one
like
dude.
The next gen.
Yeah, it's one guy.
And it's one guy. And I was like, there is no way. And now
he's
played
like Joel. He's like, yeah, I've been farting around with like a game in my spare time.
I'm just, farting out, whatever, dicking around, trying to figure out how to make a game.
AAA city builder. It's got a full combat, mixture of Age of Empires, Total War, Banished. It's kind of the best of all genres combined. It offers about 6,000 hours of gameplay for the average user.
Fully voiced quests.
And it's one developer, and I'm if I'm remembering correctly, he does contract out a lot of stuff. Like the game has a full soundtrack already, which is incredible. I'm sure he's not composing the music himself. I'm sure he's contracting it. But to have one guy at the helm doing all this work, and picking the artwork, like he had a whole blog, Joel. This is just for you because your immersion's gonna like this. He had like a little Discord community that was helping him work on the closed alpha, right? Like about 6 months ago. and they helped him figure out the best time period to use and how to mix the styles of like about 500 years of medieval history together to kind of like be able to do lots of cool stuff across like a wider time span.
Really, yeah.
Instead of it being like, oh, this is like a 1497 game, and so it has to have these things. He picked like a wider time period, and he had a little community that helped make it like immersive friendly, but also like a little gamified. The game is just incredible. He's got all 4 seasons in game, which already blew my mind. The atmospheric haze when it starts to snow in the wintertime and like all the crops are harvested and the leaves change and the wind blows. You could sell the demo on Steam for like $45.99 and people would buy it like hotcakes easily. And we only got to play about 30% of the game.
So
Yeah, go for it, Jeremiah.
So Dave was a real strategy game bro here. Joel, I was trying to play it for the free demo weekend, and something was glitching in my Steam. It would not let me download it. It would not do it. I restarted Steam. I restarted my computer.
That would not stand.
It wouldn't work. So Dave gave me his Steam login information. I logged in. Dave gave me his authenticator code.
He's now completely changed it.
Yeah, the game was already
moved away.
installed. The game was already the demo was installed. It just was glitching out and didn't think I had it installed yet. So I played it on Dave's account. The problem is there's no saving in the demo. So I played like 3-4 hours in just one stretch. That was my time at the game.
You did the old NES style.
Yeah.
You hit pause and then you left your computer on.
But it took me, I got all my settings set and everything, started playing it. It runs amazing. I was running it completely maxed out at 4K and everything. No sweat, looked great.
I was sweating.
I want that game so bad.
But so my first winter, Dave, I don't know about you. I didn't really figure out the food thing early on. So that first winter was lean. That first winter. So Joel, like Age of Empires just has like, gold, stone, wood, and food. This is like you got to have firewood. You got to have food for the winter, but like those berries stop growing when it's wintertime.
I will be a merciful God.
You better hope you picked enough of them berries. So that first winter, I'm telling you, very lean. A lot of people died. Second winter, also a lot of people died because I didn't figure out crops until right before the second winter. I played most of it on 16x speed. That's my biggest complaint with the game so far. Especially in the early game, there's a lot of time spent waiting for stuff to happen, like the build cycles and everything. Yeah. They're very slow, and there's nothing you can really do. You just have to sit and wait. So I ended up playing it on...
Now, knowing at your speed, Jeremiah, because you're incredible at Age of Empires, like... He really is really good. I'm still like trying to decide where to make a bridge, and Jeremiah's built a society and like army and crap. So like to me, I'm probably like, this is really fast. Like I've never done one of those Age of Empires on a faster speed. Like I can't keep up. I'm like, no, I need to see the one guy get berries and come back. I'm so slow and terrible.
I love how immersive that is, though.
I do think
for you, Jeremiah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I figured out a big bottleneck for me was I didn't realize until like 5 hours into my first city that my biggest time bottleneck was I only had one oxen still, and so every time I would build something, the one oxen that was like dragging logs around at the logging camp would have to then take logs to the building site. That's where all my time was going, and why things were going so slow for me. I had one oxen.
Figured out oxen. I eventually figured out how to buy goats or sheep. I was starting to get sheep, but I never figured out oxen.
Was the key.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Everything was bottlenecked by that. Once I got like 5 or 6 of them, I would place like 10 things to build at once, and they'd all be done in like 40 seconds.
Okay.
On 16x speed. That was the bottleneck.
I ended up having to change the priority order of certain buildings just to figure out what it was. I couldn't tell if it was like a game engine scaling thing or not, so I guess it was oxen. But yeah, I think I definitely... The demo, I felt like I hit the limit of how much fun I could probably have in the demo because I couldn't expand into another area. So the problems with my starting area... I didn't have enough other food sources. I only had 2 things of berries. I was growing lots of wheat, but like I couldn't go get honey from the one next to me. I couldn't expand hunting. I couldn't expand where I was going to build stuff. So like that, I kind of hit my limit after 3 or 4 hours.
Are the maps kind of randomized like stuff?
It looks like it. Yeah.
No. Okay. The map in the demo at least was handmade.
In the demo.
I mean, like maybe in the full game, do you think when you do mission, like probably the main campaign is probably detailed, but I bet you can probably do randomized scenarios. I always what I love about those games is like, especially the randomized, is I love like when you get the ones where like crazy rivers and stuff, like, and you're just kind of forced to have to create weird looking villages to kind of make it work. That was always fun because mine always looked kind of terrible, but it was just like, a stream of villagers going this long path, and then they come back and they're always getting slaughtered by, I don't know. It's just like fun to just try it. So
if I can hop onto that real quick, Joel, talking about having to make the weird shaped villages. This is how good this game's building system is. I think every single city builder in the future should use this game's node-based building system. I have never seen more authentic-looking villages and cities in any game ever that are created by players.
That's cool.
Nothing is square unless you specifically try and make it square. Everything snaps to curved roads that automatically make paths between each other. As villagers move around, they make their own paths and stuff like that. It's just... It looks so incredibly natural. Every game should use this system instead of a grid-based system if they can handle it in the future.
That's awesome.
And Jeremiah was talking about his lean winter. I got to share my very immersive and dark story from my second winter on my village. This is how much depth the game has, too. I tried to survive the first winter when my village was small off of just hunting, because my area had no berries to harvest, so it was just hunting deer. And you can actually pick how heavily you hunt the forests, and you can overhunt and wipe the animals out, and then you're screwed. So you have to balance between like, okay, my people are starving, they're going to start dying soon, but if I hunt too much, then next year the animals will be gone. So I was trying to balance that line between hunting too much and then losing too many people that winter. I was like, okay, fine, I'll start doing the crops and whatnot. And this is where the depth came in. I was all proud of myself. I had the harvest going in, 2 fields full of wheat in March, had a huge, massive harvest, had enough people to work the fields, got tons of wheat in. October, November's rolling around. I'm like, we got this set. We've got like 6,000 wheat in storage now. We're going to survive the winter. And I was like, wait, people are still hungry. Why is my food supply still 0? I started digging through the build menus and I was like, I've got my farmers, I got all the wheat. Oh, I need some mills to mill the flour.
They can't just eat
the thresh. We need some threshing floors to thresh the wheat. Oh no, we need some bakers to bake the bread. So as winter got super cold my second year in my first village, this is so dark. People were dropping dead in the streets trying to take stuff back and forth from the threshing floor to the miller to mill the wheat. And then my bakers baking the bread were dying so fast. So I have a baker going for a few weeks and then he would die of starvation. And then I had enough people to hand the food out. So my second winter there, I lost about 2/3 of my population because I missed the other half of the food supply chain. We had this just mountains of wheat and everyone's dying in the streets of starvation.
Oh, that's great.
I love those kind of games though, where it's a balancing act like that and you really feel the pressure. Because you can't build everything at once. You don't have enough people to man all the different jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
so good though.
I think when the game does come out or there's a lot more of it to play, I think it will be a great game to just put on a podcast and just sit down for a nice long Saturday of just working the manor. I think that's going to be kind of fun.
Well, guess who doesn't have kids?
Yeah. I mean, you can long, quiet Saturday. Not here. No one's screaming in my ear. No one's pooping on everything. Well, the dog is still alive, so we'll see. But just nice.
I did get three long sessions in for a total of almost 16 hours over the course of that week.
Nice, very nice.
So that was, enough about Manor Lords, but wow, the hype is real. Nothing was a lie about those screenshots. I can't imagine what it's going to be like to have the larger scale game with all the battle stuff. Oh, man.
What else have you been playing, Dave?
I'll run through the list quickly here if I can figure out which tab I left it in. The big Hunt Serpent Moon event ended. Really enjoyed playing Hunt with the gang over the 2 months, but we're kind of almost on a break right now because the event did end up being quite a grind. I paid on the first day for the event pass, expecting, I'm definitely going to try to unlock everything and I'm going to play a bunch just anyway. It took me over 100 hours to unlock everything of gameplay over 2 months. That was a bit of a grind by the end. I ended up having to play solo for probably 12 or 13 hours on my own to finish the event. So they've said that they're going to look at dialing it back a little bit, hopefully, just because it was a big grind. I think less than or right at 10% of the total active player base completed the event. I saw a lot of complaints from people that did what I did and paid early, and then went on vacation for a week or something and just came back, and it was there's no way they could catch up. It was a bit grindy, but still had some of our best rounds we ever had over the event, and it's exciting to see the game doing as well as it is. They're planning a Halloween event and a Christmas event, and there's a new map in the works, probably coming out, I'd bet, like early next summer, late spring, like May or something. There's at least one new boss on the way too, so the game has like a really active live service, which is cool. I'll just slide in this quick note here. Battlefield 2042 just started their first live event this week.
I don't care.
And they turned it off 4 hours later because it wasn't tracking anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And it was like a themed event, like close quarters combat, where there's like some new
disappointment.
That game feels like it's a billion years ago.
It was less than 1 year.
And I haven't played in, I don't know, a month and a half now, I guess. Since the last video I made is all I know. Apparently the faction that was introduced for like the live event, it turns out that all of the like themed skins, gun skins and character skins and little dangly bits and all that stuff.
Dangly bits.
All the customs dangly bits, Jeremiah.
Okay,
come on,
okay.
keep up. Keep up with the zoomers. It's all paid in like the battle coin store. All of it. Like you can't unlock any of it.
I like how you said
event.
the battle coin store and then just stared to see if we were going to react. Is the battle coin store new? Or have I just ignored it?
When the last time you probably played, all that was in there was the season pass thing.
Okay.
And it turns out that if you bought the ultimate edition of the game, you got the equivalent of like $7 of those coins, which is enough for one medium value skin.
Cool.
For like one thing. If you paid $120 for the game, that's what you got for the store.
I'm so disgusted with the $120 I paid for the game.
Enough about that game. We went back and played Battlefield 5 for like 4 hours with Mikey and Shane other week. Had tons of fun. I think Mikey said like 100 times, like, holy crap, this game is way better than I remember. And it's because we've been playing 2042 since then. I played a bunch of World War I games since our last podcast. Some really great ones came out. Beyond the Wire, pretty good, but unfortunately dead. It's like a squad-based World War I game. And then Azonzo, from the makers of the Tannenberg and what was that other game? They're like they're known for their historical World War I games. They made their most polished one so far based on the Italian front. That is a really cool in-between. If like Hell Let Loose is here, right? Mm-hmm. Like super realistic, clicking on pixels, and Battlefield 1 is here. They're like just a little bit more on the Hell Let Loose side, just barely, but it's very accessible game modes. A lot like Operations mode is their game mode style. Really cool to see their game, super polished. They've come a long way, so that was a lot of fun. Finally, I've been playing some Generation Zero co-op with Dan and Chris, and hopefully Jeremiah at one point.
I'd like to.
We did a sponsored video for it last January.
Let me see, because it's the last time I played it. Last played December 30th, 2020.
There it is. And it was another game where we're like, that was a lot of fun, we should play more. And then we never spoke of it again. So thankfully Dan got the ball rolling and we're having some fun.
Oh yeah, Dave, isn't it about time for our yearly Hunter Call of the Wild?
It's about time for that, and I'm ready for some more World of Warships.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I just remembered something. I have a confession.
Okay.
So I was on PS5 the other night, and it's getting cool around here, fall time, and you know what that means for Joel. It's Skyrim season. So I was like,
Joel,
oh yeah,
no.
There was a 60 FPS update or whatever, and I was like, oh, let me just re-download this real quick. I like launch in. I was like, it's been a while. I love just dabbling around with Skyrim, and a little icon popped up. Upgrade to the Legendary Edition. And I was like, no, I'm not paying $70. Then it was like $12 just to upgrade your first version. I was just like, oh shit. I was like, I get it.
Wait, what does the Legendary Edition get you?
It's like a whole bunch of like armor, but there's like 4 new little quest lines that they added. I think they were actually like professional modders or something like that, but then Bethesda update or something. So I was like, okay. So yeah, they got me. I bought Skyrim on everything.
I was really hoping for a second
PS3,
Joel.
Xbox 360. I actually haven't got it on the Xbox, whatever it is. What is the Xbox I have? I don't even know what it's called. Xbox
Series X?
Series X. There we go.
Did you get an X or an S?
X.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the only version I don't have Skyrim on.
Well, speaking of spending money on things you probably shouldn't, it's time for the news.
News time!
The RTX 4000 series has been announced from NVIDIA. It is actually extremely impressive, the performance of the RTX 4090. Dave, are you pretty up to speed on the performance of the 4090?
Yes, I caught those graphs you were posting.
In some games, it is 70% faster than the 3090. That is significant. What is the MSRP, Dave, of the 4090?
I believe it is $1,500.
Let's see, RTX 40. We can tell we're prepared for this.
I want to show Joel this size comparison. Joel, I want to see your face for this.
MSRP is $1,600. They increased it $100 in the last 2 years. You sly dogs.
What is it again?
$1,600. It's $1,599 MSRP.
God.
It doesn't matter. The scalpers are going to ruin it for the next year and a half.
Joel, you know how to grab links out of the chat for this recording channel?
Wait, what?
If you look at the recording channel we're in, it has if you hover over the channel name that says recording in Discord, there's a little button that says open chat. Looks like a speech bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna post it there. I want to see your face. This is the newest high-end graphics card, size comparison to a PlayStation 5.
Oh, I can't open it in the thing. I will close that out.
What?
There's your thumbnail, Jeremiah. Just cut out Joel's face with those eyes. Did you see how big those eyes got?
Gosh.
It will not fit in many cases.
Well, that's okay, because the people who own those cases can't afford it, so...
What?
Joel, it is you know the brackets in the back of the computer, Joel, the PCI brackets? That's a 3-bracket card deep.
But
3 brackets.
No, it's a 4-slot card. The bracket is only 3 slots. They're going easy
Fair.
on you in the
Oh
bracket.
my gosh.
Joel, the power consumption is about 450 watts. If you have a traditional power supply, it takes all 4 plugs. Like you normally have 2 plugs per GPU, it's like all 4, please. Thank you.
Just to get you...
Joel, just to get you over 250 FPS at 4K max settings in The Witcher 3.
Ooh, I'm sorry, what was that?
Like it is legitimately, Joel, it is an insanely powerful card. I mean, it's a totally absurd, but if you're looking for like the absolute best thing, it's the biggest generational leap I think there's ever been in graphics cards, at least in the modern era. Like it is pretty amazing.
I wish I was rich, because I would love to just own one of those and do nothing.
Well,
with
here's
it.
the problem.
Just display it.
Hanging from the ceiling.
Here's the problem,
like a
guys.
Model plane.
Yeah.
So we like to make fun of my big boy job, right? We do. It's fun.
Yeah.
I get it. I have a 3090 now. That I bought it thinking I was going to use it till I could get a 3080 and then flip it, but then all the 3080s I was able to get other friends needed, so I ended up just, I kept the 3090. It's fine.
You fell on that grenade of having to keep the 3090.
Yeah, which was $1,500, but like, it's whatever. And I had that thought the other day. I'm like, well, that's a ridiculous price. I wouldn't pay that. I'm like, well, I did actually pay that 2 years ago for the card I have now, which is selling for like $900 now. So I'm like, so that's a $700 upgrade. And that's where the dangerous thoughts come in of I'm an adult with a stable income and some discretionary income here. And I'm like, huh. I mean, I could just buy it. Like, it actually wouldn't be that big of a deal. And then I'm like, no, don't do it. And I start looking, I'm like, it would fit in my case. That's also the problem. I have a case that,
it will fit in your case?
Oh, my case has loads of room. The way my case is designed, all the hard drives are behind the motherboard. So the case is like 24 inches deep and there's nothing like blocking it. So I just happen to have the perfect case for this. I didn't buy it specifically for that. But like I got the one I have now because Ben Amish man happened to be in a Best Buy when they had one available, and he just bought it. And like, he called me while I was at work. It was basically like, I put it on the credit card if you don't want it. I can always say no. And I was like, well, that's fine. And part of me's like, if Ben calls me again and is like, I have one, what am I going to do? And I honestly don't know. This still plays everything that I want to play amazingly, and I have zero issues with it. But that performance, I do laugh at, Dave. I don't know if you saw this. The reviews are doing the same thing again of like, finally, this is the first card where you can really play 4K max settings, like with RTX and everything. And I'm like, you guys, that's, reviewers say that every single generation of cards, like, finally, real 4K gaming is attainable. I've been 4K gaming for 8 years now. 8 years, and they're like, finally, you can spend $1,600, use up 450 watts, and you can play at 4K now. Anyway, what do you think, Dave?
Man, that's wild.
Well, I mean, yeah, you were playing at 4K, but like at kind of poor level refresh rates. Now that you've seen the magic that I purchased, now you're thinking about that 4090 because you see what's possible.
I mean, I do have in my Amazon wish list right now the Asus 42-inch OLED G-Sync 4K display. So it's 120 hertz G-Sync OLED.
That's pretty low. That's legit.
I mean, that's like, you know what I'm saying?
That's got to be at least $2,000.
No, it's like $1,600. So together, we're looking at $3,200. Very, very affordable, very cool, very reasonable.
I just love that the 4090, they have a new power cable option for it that is like a 12-pin single cable, which will allow you to overclock using up to 600 watts of electricity. That is brownout levels.
It's just funny, like, thinking about, like, I mean, all this graphics card stuff, because now I'm like fully editing on just a 14-inch MacBook Pro now. Like, and it's like I'm editing 4K footage and stuff, like no problem, no issues whatsoever. Like, it's just kind of mind-blowing to me. Like, this is now my system.
I know that I will not be buying a 4090 just because I would have to remove my immersive...
Because of money?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, that's the number one reason for all this. I mean, obviously, I would be buying a Lamborghini, but I don't like the colors they offer. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, obviously.
They're just not cool enough. But I'd have to remove my immersive lights out of my case, my Ranger-themed case, and that will not do.
Immersive lights, what a dork.
My immersive lantern light in there, yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And the other bit of news for the 4000 series is there's a bit of a scuttlebutt because, of course, so the 4090 is super expensive. The top of the line cards always are, whatever.
Yeah,
the
sure.
4080, they went ahead and jacked that MSRP up by like $300 or something. Like, they basically went, oh, that's what the scalpers were selling them for? NVIDIA wants a piece of that pie. And Joel, they have like the 4080, they have two different models. Like the 4080, was it 12 gigabyte and the 8 gigabyte, Dave? Or something like that. Two different RAM versions.
There are 12 gigabyte video cards now?
Oh, Joel, mine's 24.
What? Really? Dude, I swear I feel like I've been out of the game for like 2 years. What did I even have?
What was your last card?
Was it a 16 gig? I don't know. Dave, what did I have?
You had a 1080?
1080, yeah.
So it was probably an 8 gig, I think, because my 1080 Ti was an 11 gig.
You have 24 gigs for video grab? Oh my god.
Well, and they've got the special memory stuff that Apple talks about, that unified memory or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can actually do more with less memory now. But anyway, the 4080, there's two versions of it. And one of them people have figured out is basically it's the 4070. They just named it the 4080 and charged more for it. Like, NVIDIA is going full-on scalper mode. I think they're mad at all the profits everyone else has been making, even though they were absolutely raking the profit in this past generation. Because, exactly, they jacked the prices way up last gen, and they're doing it again. And guess what? People are probably going to pay it. They're
like you.
I'm not saying I would. I would only. I did it because it was MSRP and it was tempting when I got the 30.
I don't want it because it's not in my silver color that I really like.
Yeah, it's bad. So all I'm saying, Ben, is don't tempt me. That's what I'm saying, Ben. Don't tempt me. Hold me back, Ben. Ben, hold me back.
Okay, it's funny. I was reading the chat and it says I hit 12 gigabytes of VRAM in Cyberpunk. Did you know for the longest time I had no idea what people were talking about VRAM because I would always just say VRAM. I would say VRAM. So I was like VRAM. Like what is that? I was like just VRAM.
Dave, would you like to take this next news item?
Oh, I'll take it. All right.
Okay.
Joel, I don't know if you'd heard this one. Do you know how many Witcher games got announced in the last month? In total?
No, I have no clue. Wait, in total? What?
Yeah. Five new Witcher games. There is a new trilogy in the works, along with 2 like side-based games that might be like different genres in the Witcher universe.
Like maybe like Thronebreaker, like card games, or just something else.
Could be like an RTS or like a strategy or RPG something. Like a, I don't even know, like adventure or something.
But have they announced like an actual like mainline Witcher game?
3 of them. There's a new trilogy of mainline Witcher games in the work. A whole new trilogy.
Gosh, I wonder how far that is away. Like 8 years?
The first one they said should be within 3 years, I believe.
That makes me a little nervous. I'm nervous about this.
Dang.
Go ahead.
The comforting thing here is one of the biggest things that has held them back in the Witcher series, and I'm going to miss it, is their own engine. The Red Engine apparently has been pushed to its limits with Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk. And Cyberpunk really, it was a ball and chain on the game, is what all the devs have said. They're switching to Unreal for everything now.
Oh, really?
Unreal 5, yeah.
Huh.
Which is great. I feel like, though,
Yeah.
The Witcher 3 was like the perfect storm of right place, right time, like one of the best games ever made. Let's be honest, The Witcher 2 was very good and I liked it, and The Witcher 1 was very unique for what it was, but like I don't think they can do 3 more games that are going to be as unique and amazing as The Witcher 3 was.
I think one way they could do it is if they're not as big. And that would be my guess. I'm just going to make a bet that I think they're not going to be anywhere as big as Witcher 3. I think Witcher 3 in size, like if you were to remove some of the just erroneous scrap, random crap they kind of added in that I really
love.
didn't have any story
That's
to
not
it.
true. There's nothing like that.
There's just locations that there's nothing to do other than just look at it, right? But I'm just saying, like, it's still a huge game. It was a massive game. But it would be cool if they did 3 games that were a little bit more tighter in their story, like just more focused on that, maybe a 40 to 60 hour type game.
Like Witcher 2 was. It was like
honestly, like the God of War games. Like those games are about 40 hours. Like that would be pretty awesome. And I could see them doing a good trilogy out of something like that. But I think it's going to be, doing a trilogy, if this next one is another open world 100-hour type of game,
I think you're right.
The next one's like 4 years later. Like I think that's just gonna be hard to like really plan that. I think that's gonna change, but it could be something. Again, not like the Call of Duties, but like when they were doing at least the first 3, it's like they came out like every 2 years, so that you were able to kind of experience the storyline and follow it pretty easily. But it's like, yeah, it'll be interesting. I bet there'll be smaller games.
I also am a little bit concerned because they also gave Geralt the perfect ending, and it's rumored that this would be like the Cirilla trilogy or something. But like, are they going to be able to do 3 games that's also good for that? Like I just worry. It feels like they did perfection. They made the game that they always wanted to make with the first 2, with the 3rd one, and are they gonna be able to do that again? I'll play it. I'll check it out if it's even decent. Like, I'll enjoy it. The Witcher is one of my favorite series of all time, but like, I don't know, man. As much as I would love to have more, I also would have been happy to leave it where it is as just perfection, I feel the same way about it as I do, honestly, about the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like, when Amazon announced they're making a series, I don't want them to make anymore. I didn't want them to make something because I thought it was perfect for what it was. I didn't want The Hobbit. Like, it's okay to leave something as amazing and you can come back and revisit it as the amazing thing. Now, as it turns out, I'm really enjoying the Rings of Power. I actually really like it, and I'm surprised how much I liked it because I didn't want it. So it's very possible that could change with this. But like, man, how often does that happen though?
Yeah, as of nowadays, it feels like more things are a miss than a hit.
Right.
For for going back and being like, let's bring it back one more time.
Let's beat that nostalgia horse to death again.
I mean, this was like years ago, but I think we talked about it on the podcast, but I always thought an idea of a Witcher game set in that universe where you are kind of like you get to create your own Witcher, like you're learning to be one, would be kind of cool. I mean, to me, I always thought it'd be awesome if you could play co-op and take down, bosses and stuff like that. But that would be kind of cool because then you could still have, Geralt and them kind of existing in it, but that wouldn't be the main story. It would be within the Witcher universe. But but I think, like, to me, I feel like the draw of that is really the story, not just the universe. Because if you do just the universe, it's not. I mean, it's still unique.
It's
I'm
good,
not going to say it's not
but
unique,
it's not
but
like incredible.
it is still kind of that fantasy genre. Like, it's not that different from everything else. Just plain. I mean, the same for Skyrim. Like, Skyrim is just it's the fantasy game, but it's the whole piece that kind of made the game work really well in their systems. So I think to me, like, the storyline of Witcher was the most interesting for the game for me, because the gameplay was like, it was all right to me, but I really enjoyed the story, and like each little story was just really well done. So it was like, I want to do the next quest. Even if I wasn't the biggest fan of potion making or the combat, I still just loved going to the places and talking with people, and freaking Gwent. Please just make open world Gwent. That's all I want. I just want to be a bard, just going to towns, everyone playing Gwent. Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, Joel, remember that time that the intellectually disabled shopkeeper went in game while I watched live?
Destroyed my ass. Gwent.
Yeah, and then like just dropped one liner like, okay. After you like exited out of Gwent, he's like, all right. Thanks for coming by.
Well, guys, it's now time for the return of a segment. 90 Seconds with Joel. A part of the podcast where Joel talks about whatever he wants for 90 seconds. He has 3 topics for 90 Seconds with Joel, though. This expanded really quickly.
Yeah. So this first one I saw, it was like actually in a would you rather thread, but I don't really think it's not really a would you rather. It's just kind of funny. And the question is basically, if you're sitting on the toilet and you're taking a big old crap, right? But then you hear like a family member or a significant other, wife, whatever it is, or kids like screaming bloody murder, and this is something's off. Do you wipe and run, or do you just go? Jeremiah?
I'll go first. I won't answer your question, but I'll answer your question with an analogy that I think will answer your question. Okay. I thought about this a number of times. We have a house camera system that is armed at night. Like, we have external cameras, and we have a couple internal ones like in the living room and stuff. Obviously not near the bathrooms, not in the bedroom, anything like that. But I've had this thought. I'm like, I'll be honest with you guys and everyone listening to the podcast. I don't know if this is good I don't sleep with any clothes on. I'm a comfortable man. I like to sleep in comfort.
Respect.
I like them comforters.
Respect.
I keep a shotgun under the bed because I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about
Free Willy.
And like, if someone ever breaks into the house, the footage we're going to get on the cameras is going to be bad. It's going to be naked me, because I'm not getting dressed.
Covered in blood, covered in sweat, covered in filth.
Sure, that's going in a direction I'm not sure about, but sure. Like, I've thought about it before. I'm like, man, I'm going to have to log into the Ring app and delete some stuff. Like, Bezos is going to be getting an eyeful tonight. Like, and I've thought about that before, and I've just decided, but the low odds of that happening, I'm going to be comfortable.
This is tactical bidet.
Jeremiah's going to be muzzling the bad guys 2 times over.
So yeah, that's if that answers your question. I've just decided if that ever happens, I'm just going to have to own it.
Yeah. No, that's mine.
They'll die screaming.
For one reason or the other.
Dave.
Right to the bathroom, Dave. Gun.
So no wipe. Nice.
Look, I own a nice washing machine. It'll be all right. Or alternatively, I have a burn pit in the backyard.
Okay, so for my second one, this was actually come up with today.
Hold on. Joel, how about you?
What? Oh, no, of course I would not wipe.
Okay.
No.
Would you pull your pants up?
I would only pull it up if they were close up. If they were closer to my feet. If they were closer to my toes, they'd be off.
I feel like I need to ask this. You strike me as the type that might get completely undressed to take a dump. Do you?
I have before.
Okay, all right.
While lighting the candles and arranging the plants.
I was talking about this earlier today, and I was like, here's a challenge. How much money for a whole month? Every time you use a bathroom, it doesn't matter where you are, you have to fully undress. Socks,
Well, that would be easy because I don't use
everything.
the bathroom when I'm out and about unless it's number one.
So like every time you have to drive home, fully unclothed. But could you imagine being out like you always got to find a stall? It's like taking everything off.
I slowly become that moron that always is leaving guns in Walmart bathrooms. Damn it.
Ben in the chat adds another element to this. He says when a surprise alarm's gone off, he's been running around the house naked with a CZ and his sleep apnea mask. That makes it even worse. You're Darth Vader, naked Darth Vader running towards you with a gun.
Why have you come here?
Swear to me.
State your business.
Where are that?
All right. What's your next topic, Joel?
Okay. The second one is I came up with a alternate version of, what grinds my gears.
I'm most impressed that you got that idiom right. That's
yeah, thank you. So I came up with another one today because Eric and John Collar are always making fun of me because I enjoy pickles. All right, I like pickles. So I came up and I felt really good about coming up with this one.
No, I'm gonna halt Joel for a second here. They make fun of you because
I love pickles.
There have been times that you have been caught with nothing but pickles in your refrigerator. That is why they make fun of you.
I know. So anyways, I came with my version of what grinds my gears is what brines my dills.
I should have taken a sip of drink right before that. I almost ruined this new monitor.
You know what really brines my dills?
Pretty good. I have to say that is solid. We use almost like camel noise and inverted camel noise out of Jeremiah there.
I'm trying to breathe.
I was like, I nailed it on that one.
That is one of the best things you've ever said.
What really brines my dills?
You gotta just find a way, Joel, to slide that into casual conversation without referencing the actual saying.
I feel like you could do it if you had a few other ones right before it and kind of slip that one in really quick. Like, wait, did I hear wrong? What was that one?
It's kind of self-explanatory too. It kind of just works.
Actually, that would make a great shirt, like a big dill pickle on it. You know, really brines my dills.
I'm adding it to the Discord bot now.
Man.
So the last thing I was gonna say, I mean, we don't have to or nothing, but I finally finished the documentary. So, did you see the trailer, Jeremiah?
I haven't seen anything about it. I wanted to watch the whole documentary.
Oh, really? But you haven't seen the trailer?
Mm-mm. No, because I just wanted to watch.
So
I don't like watching trailers.
You don't want to watch the trailer? Oh, dude, it's really good.
Well, can I watch?
I didn't know if anybody. I was thinking, I don't know if do you want to stream it? I don't know if anybody wants to see it because I've spent the last 2 years working on.
It won't be good quality over this stream, but I'll add it in the description. I'll superimpose it in the video.
Okay,
if you send me, can you Dropbox me a 1080p rip or something of it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and I'll add it in at the end here. So this is a documentary for what? Sorry, we skipped past that part.
So it's a documentary called Beyond the Tree Line. It's about a family who hiked the entire Appalachian Trail with their 4-year-old son, and so now they hold basically the record for the youngest kid to ever do it. He did the whole northbound through hike, 2,200 miles. They were out for 7 months. And so he was a close friend of mine. We went through Boy Scouts together. And so he told me years ago, because they did a small trip to Mount Everest, not to the top, but they went to the Mount Everest base camp, which is still pretty epic. It's a 9-day trip. And so ever since then, they were always we think we might be able to do it because Josh really wanted to go up Everest, but his wife was no, we're not doing that. And so he's like, well, maybe we'll do Appalachian Trail. So they ended up training with the kid, and their kid Harvey is just absolutely incredible. And he is just such a beast, and he loved it. And so their story is just really, really fascinating because it's not just really about Harvey. It's about the whole family. like just seeing, because he was a really big kind of workaholic, and he knew he just wanted to take time before his kids started kindergarten to be like, I just want to spend time with him. And he's like, and everyone was telling him to do that, and so they're like, let's do this. And so they saved for about 7 years to be, and like didn't really do any vacation so they could afford to be off. And he does real estate stuff, and he's like, I had to like give up my business, and I wasn't sure if the people taking over were going to run it well, and if I was going to have a business when I came back. So it's a story, and I ended up recording them like the night before they left to head to Georgia, and they started their trip in January of last year. And I ended up training the whole summer so that I could hike at the very end in Maine in Mount Katahdin, which is a crazy hike, but that's where the AT finishes. So I met them along the trail. But anyways, this is the trailer for it that we released, because we ended up going to Massachusetts last weekend to a big like hiking festival. And so it was kind of like a test screening. The first, when we finished it, and the last like 2 days I was up. I didn't get any sleep, like basically for the last 2 days we were finishing it. And so it's done, and now we're looking for distribution and
that's
you know,
awesome.
that whole
so this
rigmarole
is
after
this is
Norm.
your second
like,
film, really. Or well, I guess you're technically your third film, your second big film.
Yeah. I mean, like I did the documentary for Norman, but it's like this one's like a narrative one. That one's a little bit more behind the scenes with kind of a narrative, but nowhere near this. And I think it's funny just seeing like what I did with Norman and that like prepared me for this, because this was like 75 hours of Appalachian Trail footage plus like 12 to 14 hours of my own interview footage. I like went to like the Appalachian Trail Museum. I filmed like Harvey's pediatrician, like historical places. Like I visited them on the trail. It's just like, I definitely wouldn't have ever been able to do this if I hadn't done those other films. So it was like, it prepared me, because when I think of like Norman, like my whole footage there was cutting maybe 20 hours of footage into a movie, into like, you know, an hour and 42 minutes. I mean, yeah, almost like 100 hours of footage to get something done. So, but I'm really excited about it, because it's like, it's really unique. I did a lot of research. There's nothing like it out there. There's nothing like, you'll find YouTubers who've done like hiking trips, but they don't really go into like, I'd say, the full depth history and like just the different stories and how the family thought it wasn't maybe a good idea. And anyway, so I didn't know if you guys wanted to watch the trailer. So I don't know when it'll be out. Where, you know, it'll probably be a year probably until we get it out, but we're gonna do some film festivals with it. But it was kind of like a low-key thing I was working on for a long period of time. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, I'll stream the trailer here at the end of the podcast. I'll add that on. Cool. Not for the live stream. I'll add it to the recording one just so it's good quality, and then I'll put a link in the description. Yeah. So that was going to be my next question: when can we watch it? Because I will watch the trailer for you, but I really just want to see the whole thing. But we got to wait for distribution.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, well, I know a guy, so I can get you the version of it. But so like we finished the mix. There's probably we're gonna do a bit more tweaking because we got it there, but it's like 95% there. But what's cool is we ended up buying like a 4-foot long Appalachian Trail like topographical map. It was 3D printed with wood and like other materials, and then my brother-in-law literally painted it like you know those little minifigs you'd play like RPG like board games. Mm-hmm. He paints those little like Star Wars figures and stuff, but he painted the whole map, so it looked like the Appalachian Trail. Gosh. It's really cool. And then I borrowed Zach's camera. He had the 4K Canon camera, and we used the jib and everything, and we shot a physical map. Kind of like, it was cool. Like I kind of wanted to come up with my own vibe, because it was like we can't use Google. We can't use anybody else's like already Appalachian Trail maps.
You don't want to spend the budget on like a 3D render or something.
Yeah. Oh, well, we didn't have that, but I was like, well, if I do this, then we put little red pins, and then I did my own After Effects and tracked and stuff like that. So we might down the road have Adam take my After Effects project and just like polish up some of the tracking, but I got it pretty darn close. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, funny side story with that. So Joel's buddy Josh, the subject of this documentary, was the realtor that we bought our house through. And we bought this house from Adam, who did all of the effects for Joel's movie Norman. And at no point did Joel bring this up when we were buying the house and going through any of this process. Just never mentioned it. Like, we went through the whole process. And later it's like, oh yeah, it's one of my best friends from childhood. Not that you had to tell us. I don't know, it just feels weird. Just never came up.
Oh man, I just saw the comments. Tiddler on the roof. I forgot I did that.
I don't know. That really grinds my deal. Is like that's top notch, top flight. Guys, I think this has been a banger of an episode.
Yeah, that's been good. I'm really excited to play Callisto Project. That one, from the makers of Dead Space. That one's coming out. I think next month or something like that. So man, there's God of War and that one, and then man, the remake of Dead Space looks freaking sick too. So it's kind of like a bunch of space games back to back.
Oh, it looks like your brother Jonah has joined us in the stream.
Oh, nice.
Jonah, we heard about your Airbnb escape room. That sounds like a really cool idea. Have people left reviews about it, like talking about how they enjoyed playing it or something? Like, do you know?
Well, since we finished it, the person that's been using it, for they've been in there for like 3 months. So it's like I think they got 1 month left.
Have you asked them how many times have you beaten it?
Yeah, I know. Well, it was funny because as we were building it, apparently someone who used it before, they found some parts of it and like left everything open, of course. But I'm like, it was a complex kind of like user experience thing because we knew if someone found, let's say, Riddle 3. We left the finished one. We left little keychains that said, "Confused at what this is? Try hitting the red button in this room." Like, because it was like if you find it, you don't want to be like, "What the crap is this?" You know what I mean? Like, it'd be kind of bizarre. So we're like had to kind of think through that. So I'm really curious if it actually all works together. Like I think we're pretty sure it does, and so but I don't know how hard it is. I think it's pretty easy, but it's one that you just kind of have to walk around a little bit, and you'll figure it out.
Okay, well. Thank you guys for coming out and being a part of a great episode. Any final thoughts, Dave? Sorry, I just looked and saw that you were motioning.
Well, we were talking about upcoming stuff that we're excited for.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
And you had mentioned how Ben was your bro for the graphics cards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had mentioned this in the podcast before. I think Joel's going to appreciate this level of immersion. It's been a pretty dry year for new releases after the new Battlefield was a crash and burn, right? So for me and Shane, we're just really waiting on Stalker 2 at this point.
Yeah.
Like they're still saying next spring, hopefully. I mean, they're in the middle of a war zone. A bunch of their developers are like active duty right now, so it could get delayed again. But I got a call. It was a Discord message, like Ben gave to you, Jeremiah, with your graphics card from Shane one day. And he says, it finally happened. We had a pact. If the pre-orders went up for Stalker 2's Ultimate Collector's Box anywhere in the world, whoever saw it first was to buy 2 of them. That was the pact. And one day, Shane just messages me a Amazon checkout receipt from amazon.co.uk. And it's like $700 of Stalker Ultimate Collector's Editions. We have 2 of them waiting on us. His family is going to ship them over from the UK for us.
Oh my gosh.
Because they were only available in the UK. Joel?
Yeah.
It's going to have 2 different figurines. One of a Stalker. One is going to be like a lit up artifact, like an artifact holder.
Yeah.
It comes in a Stalker survival backpack. Like, it comes with a backpack, right?
As you put it on. I'm there.
It's got, all the usual stuff you'd expect. The tin for the game disc that no longer exists. The stickers, the map. It has like postcards, just a guidebook, an art book, hardcover art book. It's just, I'm gonna have to clear some shelf room out for all this loot. But over this slow year where it really has just been getting back into Hunt that's been sustaining us, occasionally I'll just remind Shane, like, hey, you remember how we have a pact for Stalker 2 and we have the ultimate loot collection waiting for us? He's like, yeah, I remember that. That's what we're looking forward to.
That's awesome.
For the next year for us, basically.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm ready.
Please
be good. Please be good.
I forgot to say one thing. The escape room in the box, there's one that's a Walking Dead version that's really good.
Ooh.
It's made by Mattel, so it has more like objects and locks and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah, because if you watched season 1 and 2 and then stopped, it's really good.
That's actually almost exactly what I did. I think I made it like midway into season 3.
Maybe,
and then I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Dude, when you watch the trailers for I was just curious because I think the last 5 episodes are coming out soon, and that's, the main series or something like that. And I was just like, I don't even recognize this. I was like, not like just the storyline, but the quality looks so much lower. Like, first 2 seasons felt like movies. Like, it had that film grain. Like, it felt really gritty. It's like, ugh, gross. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming out and being a part of the show. As always, you can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com to be a part of the show. We will probably read your email on air because we don't get that many emails anymore because, this is not exactly happening that often. D-Trucks in chat asking about the Steam Deck. Yes, I've been playing Need for Speed Heat and a little bit of Resident Evil, and that's about it. I have not really been gaming a whole lot lately. I've been way too busy with work and freelance, but when I have been playing, it's been about 25% of the time is on the deck, so I've been enjoying it. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming out, being part of the show, and we will see you on the next episode. But until then, stay casual.
After 8 days of trekking, we're finally making it to base camp. We did it. That was a long 8 days.
It was. So now that you've done the Himalayas, what's the next big adventure for your family?
The Suttons are hiking the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. They set out tomorrow. Josh, Cassie, and 4-year-old Harvey are planning to hike around 2,200 miles.
Only 25% of people actually complete the trail that set out to do it because of injuries, the mental stress of keep going every day. The Appalachian Trail is unique in the trails that I've hiked in that the different kinds of weather you'll have, everything from very cold weather to very wet weather, snow at times, to ice at times, to extremely hot weather.
It's over 90 degrees.
So many kids don't get to do anything like this. And I was surprised that parents are still brave enough to try it.
They were able to form a friendship and relationship, and a 5-year-old totally capable of through hiking the Appalachian Trail.
I probably give them a 40-60 chance of making a hike.
You can't find out how far you can go unless you go too far.
The way that he bonded to his parents, had that shared sense of accomplishment. You can't put a price on that. That is truly priceless.
Baxter does have a rule that you have to be a minimum of 6 years old to climb, and there's good reasons for that. Most kids who are 6, heavens, maybe 7 or 8, they shouldn't be anywhere near Katahdin.
The request for an exception to this rule for their son will be almost 5.5.
If they said no, I don't know what we would have done.
He had done all the hard stuff that everybody else had done. He deserved it just as much as everybody else did.
You have accomplished one incredible, amazing achievement.
Oh, you're going on a nice little hike today? And little man responds, oh, I'm hiking from Georgia. And they're like, wait, what?
We've gone so much to get to that sign. I mean, how do you just be so comfortable with life and just with a key just turn it off?